over. It's over. It's over. Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of Reach the Peak podcast. I'm your host, Quenn Lovatt, also known as BashaNo, and I'm joined by eenox. Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it is nice to be your third guest.
Yeah.
How have I haven't checked out the other one. Actually, no, I checked out a few minutes with Yuki. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to like get too in my head about like trying to think ahead of time. So I want to be more off the cuff.
This is just gonna be fun and sporadic.
Yeah, and I saw Rick was the other guest. I'll probably be more interested to watch those after this because like they've gone through the same experience as me, so I'd be like more interested to see how they took it.
Yeah. Cool. I guess start. Who are you? Where you from? You know, what are you known for?
Gotcha.
Basics.
Okay, so in real life, I'm gonna keep the details probably pretty vague when it comes to my family and stuff. Yeah. But big homebody, I guess. But I live in California, have my whole life. I lived in an apartment for, I don't know if this matters, but I'm just going to ramble for like the little details about my life, I guess. Lived in an apartment from ages 4 to 12, and I played outside a lot, basically during that whole time. Only towards the end of that did I start playing Call of Duty. I did have a PS2, and my brother and I did play games occasionally, but like when we were younger, like we mixed that in with like playing outside. So I was pretty active as a kid.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started, like my mom got us an Xbox. I think Christmas of 2009. We got Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2. Oh my! I never went back. Ever. Like those are like some of the best games of all time. I wasn't very good at those games, but I mean it doesn't. And I didn't care about skill back in those days.
Yeah.
I did more so value like I had the friends that I just goofed around with and just had like generic fun in, which is strange. My relationship with gaming has evolved and changed and warped so much since then. But but we moved into an actual house later, and I've basically lived in a house besides like a 6-month period. I've still lived with my parents, still currently living with my parents. Turning 25 in 9 days.
Oh,
and really yeah, crazy. I know. That's a quarter century, so it's a little significant. And 2025 feels like the first futuristic year in my mind, so like feels fitting.
No, don't worry, my age is too serious this year. I'm turning 20 this year in like a month.
Oh no. I know that feel. You know what, it like didn't for the entire time I was 20, it like never actually hit me. I think you just start like, dissociating from your age. I like it. It just doesn't feel so real. You kind of feel like in a sort of range, and you'll know when you've like leveled up because there's like class levels. It's like age groups. That's why that's a phrase, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know like where I live. Does that factor into like how I gamed? We had a second living room at the first actual house that we owned and lived in. And that's where I just played Call of Duty. Yeah. I played Call of Duty exclusively from ages 9 to like 16, 17. Like genuinely.
Yeah.
I did watch like YouTubers play through games occasionally, but I wasn't a big consumer of media. My brother would show me an anime every couple years or something.
Yeah.
But mainly just a gamer. Went to school, kind of kept quiet at school, or for the most part. There were some people who like kind of not forced a friendship, but they initiated or engaged with me first. Over the first friend I made really just like I would say they kind of forced the friendship. I didn't dislike them at all though. They definitely needed a friend, and like, I was happy to oblige. That was back when I like played pretend in elementary school, which is
Okay.
something. Eventually, they like the yard duty started like getting upset. This might sound fucking insane, but I don't know if I can swear. I'm sorry. That's
No, you can swear.
okay. Like, but the yard duty like getting upset at kids. Well, eventually, I got upset at us for playing pretend, and then also I was starting to get older, and some people were starting to tease about it. So it was easy to stop doing that. But I'm like, wow, I really wish I lived in a world where like kids could play pretend and stuff for longer. Like I could have. I wonder how different my life would have been. I don't know if it would have been that different. Maybe I just would have felt a little more fulfilled in a marginal aspect of life.
See, I was
But
a weird kid. I was a weird kid. I didn't play pretend. I just played chess all day.
yeah, like
That's all I
it's
fucking did.
surprising to me that I did it. It's like I had, you know, I
So
didn't like
all the other kids thought I was weird. They're like, I'm like, I'm busy. One sec.
like that. Oh, it surprises me that I'm not like that too. That's awesome. But like that's how I feel. Like I'm an analyzer. It seems like clearly, at least that's what I would. Like I'm a gaming, I don't know, like analyst of myself in real time. Like that's the whole, I guess, skill that I have, is being able to be aware of like myself in the game and like trying to understand the objective truths about those things and leveraging my knowledge of those truths to my like benefit for optimization and efficiency. Don't know if that word salad made any sense. I think it did.
I think it did.
Yeah, I think that checked out. But like anyway, what I was saying is I'm surprised I wasn't like more into that type of stuff as a kid. I've always just kind of like been dragged along, like ended up wherever I ended up, and like haven't so much taken agency to place myself in places, settings, or scenarios that I prefer. That's something that like as I'm getting older, I definitely need to get a hold of, because that's an important like life thing, is taking like being able to be, how do I put this? Taking control of yourself, or being knowledgeable about what you actually like and your preferences.
Yeah, like
and
what you want to do in life and stuff.
working, and like working, like you can make choices and have conversations with people to make the like reality you want. Anyways, getting a little, that's more generic life. But I guess I'm thinking about it, reminiscing about childhood. Like my childhood is so much different than like how I'm living these days. It seems like those were definitely golden years, because like I try not to think about it and try not to get doomer, but I try not to like show that or speak about it too much. But I definitely have like a doomer mindset that I'm having to like keep at bay. And I think most people in the world at this point, it's like that's kind of what you got to do.
I feel like that's a norm at this point. Kind of like,
it's like people are becoming more and more aware, because we're able to talk to anyone from anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to get too into the weeds of life in the world, but gaming. What else about gaming changed across my life? The games I used to play on PS2 were like action RPGs, I think they're called, like the Lord of the Rings games. I played like some Ratchet and Clank game that I borrowed from my friends. Soul Calibur. It's like a fighting game.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I have some nostalgia. Don't have too much connection. I don't even know why. Oh, and Finding Nemo. That is the only game I remember specifically locking in on, trying to like get everything. I don't know. The Finding Nemo game.
Oh, don't worry. I used to play the Madagascar game. Oh my god.
Oh, I didn't have it. I didn't know about that one. But like all those kinds of games could like randomly just be bangers.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if maybe they all were, and it was just like
I think the other day I was watching Madagascar game speedrun. I'm just like, dude, what? People are taking this way too seriously. Holy.
But it's not
it's so good though.
But it's like cool though, isn't it? So cool that like, like any game, awesome. Like it's just waiting to be like seeing a game be played in the same way like a master I don't know, person who's like mastered an instrument can. Like it's just a beauty to watch and witness. In my opinion, no matter what the game is. I mean, some games look more obviously impressive than others, I would say. Or flashy, but yeah.
The Madagascar speedrun I was watching, he like jumped, you know, like Marty, the little like zebra dude. He like
Yes,
jumps
yes.
on a hay bale, like backs up clips into it, and like glitches through half of the walls. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this in this game? Like,
But it's like
this
so
doesn't
silly,
fit.
like because it's silly that like makes it just
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
We
they're doing
need
like
some
there's like a
silliness.
penguin level where they're like taking over a ship, and they just run. I'm like, oh, I remember this level, and he just runs like through every box. Like he just like skips the box like through the walls and shit. I'm like, okay, I don't remember that.
Yes.
What? What am I watching?
Ah, that's the thing. Like you can play games in so many different ways to experience
Yeah.
it and like just and have totally different mindsets about it and appreciate
I think it's because I knew
different
that and
things.
like could remember the level from playing it from like my childhood,
Of
and then I
course.
see him
Of
like
course.
completely demolishing it. I'm like, that seems wrong. I don't remember
No,
doing this.
right, because you right. It's because it like it goes against all those memories.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's cool. Um, I guess.
I'm trying to or
Um,
I think I might have a little more to say.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Go
to
ahead.
like wrap up the timeline up to current with like
Yep.
just my general gaming, what kind of games
Like
I've
how
played.
you got into doing challenge gaming and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll naturally follow. And
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
might it's possible that I go on like long periods of talking myself, so if
That's fine.
you can butt in if you have to.
Nah, that's all good.
Uh okay.
That's what
So
this is
I
for.
yeah, I just was a Call of Duty mono gamer until like 2017. But I did play Super Meat Boy, notably, and I was a fan of The Binding of
Yeah.
Isaac since like 2012. I loved watching Isaac videos. I was an early Northern Lion watcher. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like if I didn't watch Northern Lion, I wonder how like I don't know. I feel like I was just like what am I saying? I feel like I don't want to say I'm hesitating to say that I'm like well spoken because at times I feel like I'm not, but
Yeah, I feel like that
my
sometimes.
my vocabulary or just like way of formulating a sentence and pacing, I feel like I kind of get from him or have taken from him.
Oh
Anyways,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not true. But I watched Northern Lion and all like a bunch of Isaac. Oh, and Isaac streamers notably,
Oh yeah.
Cobalt Streak and Richard Hammer. I remember, but never played. I could occasionally play Isaac on my brother's computer. Whenever he started working, he's a few years older than me.
Yeah.
So he started working, and there was time when he was away, so I could play Isaac, and those were like some of the best times because I could only do it occasionally, and he had an actual good computer. We had a family computer, but like it really sucked, and even back then, before I knew about the like godliness of input latency and like low input lag and high responsiveness
Yeah.
gaming, like even then I like couldn't do it. It was really bad. Um,
It's
but
okay.
somehow I didn't care playing Super Meat Boy on an Xbox 360 with on like a big TV. Like somehow I did that.
This is
I
what
didn't get all achievements.
Super Meat Boy's the first game I ever fucking played.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's you on the track for life. Wow.
That was like it was like love at first sight. I like started playing. I'm like, this is fun. I want to do this.
Wow. You know what? That made me remember something. The first seed of me liking challenges in games, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this. And you might know this because I've talked about this on stream. I feel like a good amount of
Oh, yeah.
times. But the Flash game, the world's hardest game.
Oh,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
hundreds of hours of that game as a kid. Never did it deathless. I never practiced it consistently enough over a short
See,
period of time.
I think how I got into Super Meat Boy was I hadn't played games like before then. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really have any interest or whatever. But I watched this random video. I can't remember what it was. It was like 10 hardest games of all time. And like Super Meat Boy was on 4, so I'm like, that doesn't look that
Oh
hard.
yeah.
That looks
Right.
I can do that. What the fuck? And then I picked it
That's
up
the thing.
and I was
yeah.
like 9, I could beat it. I couldn't
Yes,
I couldn't
I
beat it. I'm
love-
like, fuck. I'm losing.
That's what it is. I think that's how they get you. Games that like I love the games that are like that people classify as rage games. The reason it is a rage game is because it looks simple and the mechanics are simple on
yeah.
the face, but they're like difficult to get an actual hold of and be like super precise and accurate about. Like that takes a good amount of experience and like learning and understanding
Yeah.
to achieve.
But yeah, I couldn't beat it for like years, and then I just came back one day. I'm like, I'm gonna beat it, and I just fucking did everything in like a day. I'm like, are you
Damn,
serious?
wow.
What the fuck?
What?
But that's because I had played games like after that. Like I had already played more
Okay,
games than them.
yeah.
But it
Okay,
was like
that's
a few
probably why.
years later, I came back. I'm like, I'm gonna redo this, and I'm like, ah, Okay.
Yeah.
Still some of it's hard, but I was just like, how? What the fuck?
Do you remember to what extent, like just beating the levels, or like
No,
getting A
like
plus, or like what
I
do you
did
think?
all the levels, like I beat everything and got
Gotcha.
16%, and then I came back like over like once a week doing the Deathless like chapters. So
Okay.
like the weeks after I just kind of grinded out the Deathless chapters. I hate
Damn nice.
Dark Rapture. Dark Rapture.
Oh
Bad
yeah,
chapter.
that's the last thing I
The
ever did in
worst
Super Meat
fucking
Boy.
chapter.
Yeah, I didn't do everything
just-
the hardest possible way.
I just don't like that chapter at all.
Yeah,
I just
honestly, it's
don't
got
like
some of
Dark-
the yeah.
I just don't like Dark Rapture.
It's got some of the. Well, I don't want to speak too concretely because I'm not super like
Yeah,
I'm not the
fair.
most like having played the game that much, but
Uh,
like the mechanics are
I just
those
have a-
dogs or whatever that chase you. I know they're not dogs, but
the
like
zombies, the meat
the
zombies.
yeah, the AI is like
Oh,
very
they're
odd.
scuffed. They are very scuffed.
Yeah, it's not.
I think everyone just agrees that like Rapture's kind of scuffed as a chapter.
And then, like the gravity
Yeah, the
circles.
gravity
I don't know what
orbs.
the for like that
Yeah,
push
the
you away.
orbs. They're very they're silly. But no, I think the reason I came back because I had played after I played the Aliens vs Predators games. Like that's what got me
Gotcha.
into like speed running.
Got
And
it.
then-
When did you start doing that?
It would have been a few years after I played Super Meat Boy,
Okay.
and then I played Overwatch. Like way too
Got
much.
it.
Way too much fucking Overwatch.
Okay. All right. So you do have that FPS gene,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least a little bit. Got it. I for some reason I can't get into it.
You can't get into FPSs. Nah, I feel like they're not for everyone. I feel like you either like them or you don't. You know?
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't help that I like this is a little or known fact about me, but I use the mouse with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, which is probably like
okay.
the lowest percentage like mouse user situation.
No, I had
because
a
my-
friend that played inverted still. Like, I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
wow.
why? You don't
Wait,
have to do
inverted
that
with-
anymore. Like when you look up, you look down. When you look down, you look up.
Oh, and like when playing a game,
Yeah,
I
when
was
playing.
thinking like globally with the mouse. I'm like, imagine like navigating your desktop. I'm like,
It's
wait,
like-
what?
He like just plays like with like inverted controls. I'm like, ooh,
Got it. Got
don't
it.
do that.
I saw a video a long time ago where like someone tried to make sense of why the like
I think it's
inverted
from-
or like they were explaining the reasoning
I think it's
behind
from the old
why
Quake gameplay. I think Quake used to have it.
is what originally had it.
Yeah.
I saw a video, it was like some Call of Duty YouTuber who said like it has to do with like how you perceive the like one of them can feel more natural to different people. It's not that
Yeah.
it because like you're imagining the perspective like being like hinged off of a different point. I can't really explain it, but I don't know. I don't remember the concept, but like it somehow makes sense in some way. But that is a little strange. But no, it's even more strange for some reason I do that. And then I also do the other thing. And this is kind of skipping, but
Yeah,
it's
you
somewhat
can talk
related
about
to the
it.
topic.
It's similar,
But
yeah.
this ties in actually very well to the world's hardest game because this is where I started doing that.
I
so
see.
I hadn't, I was probably like 8 years old, I'm pretty sure. And I liked going on this website called Addicting Games. Before that, I also went on a website called Miniclip, and I would just play random Flash games all the time.
Addicting Date Games is such a good name. What the hell?
I know, it's
like nice. They know what
It's
they're
good stuff.
doing.
They do know. They did know, and I'm like, that's right. I want some addicting damn
Yeah.
games in my face right now. And they had some addicting games on there, I will say. And the world's hardest game was one of them, and that's what that was my first experience of being attracted to a game because I'm like, oh, it's like saying it's a really hard game. Like, how hard can it really be?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you
challenge.
get humbled very quick.
You're getting called out. You're like, you take it personally. How dare they? I could do it.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I really had no experience to back me. Like, I was a literal child having played like no game like this before. So like, I'm like, how do I approach this? I don't know how long. I wish I could remember how long I tried. I had no reference of how people used the arrow keys because my brother, he was left-handed and he didn't use the arrow keys. He used PL semicolon apostrophe.
Yeah.
He was on that truthism. So I'm like, okay, how do I use the arrow keys? Maybe for a time I tried to use 3 fingers, but what I ended up doing was I used my right thumb on left arrow, then middle finger on up, index on down, and ring finger on right.
Dude,
It might It
That
might
hurts.
feel more comfortable. Like, what if you did thumb on down arrow? Would that be more comfortable for most people, you think? I feel like that
maybe.
actually would make more sense.
See, because
But for
I'm
some
also
reason,
a
I do it this
keyboard
other way.
user. I'm a keyboard user as well, so I use like my middle three, like index,
Oh, yeah.
middle, and ring on like the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
ones.
yeah. Just
And then
flat, like have your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I slant my up arrow the other way round. So they're like, they like dip
Oh,
in the middle.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah, yeah.
mean?
I see.
So
It's like a
that,
different ramp
just
slope
like,
direction.
yeah, so it like just transitions like kind of like a ramp.
Okay. Oh
And I also
yeah. Okay.
I put my space bar upside down as well.
Oh, I have heard of that. I have heard of that's
Yeah.
like a strat for getting better acoustics on your spacebar, apparently too.
Yeah,
heard.
it's very loud. So whenever I'm like in Discord, I'm just like pressing space. So they're like, bro, I can hear that. I'm like, oops, my bad.
It is what we live in a time. I mean, it's a thing now. At least we don't have to listen to the dial-up connection.
I also, when I'm playing shooters, I did the same thing with the W with the arrow key. Like I flipped it upside down.
Got it.
So like,
Do you think that also keeps you like centered, like with
Yeah, I
like
don't
knowing?
Because I feel like the keys next to it, yeah, are facing the different ways. So
Mhm.
it feels different when you're like tapping them.
Yeah, I like having. That's nice to have like a specific point that just feels different from the rest to keep you like
Yeah.
centered when you're not looking at something. I don't know. Like, I think so. Anyways, I don't know if there's really much to explain besides like, yeah, I played the world's hardest game when I was 8, and somehow naturally, no one else does this though. Like
with it. Yeah.
how I don't. It's so weird that I just did that, but it's because it's a 4-directional game. Sorry, I didn't explain the game for people who don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just you're a red square, and you go like if you ever seen like the scary maze game, it's like literally exactly like that. It's just
like Undertale before Undertale was cool.
Yeah, I swear the movement speed's like really similar too.
It feels very similar.
Like it really trained me like years and years in advance. But yeah, you're just a red square that dodges circles of different colors that can move in different pattern groups. And there's like maze levels that are like arranged from a grid, and
like,
you have to go from a.
I'm like hovering over my key, like my keys right now, trying to figure out like how comfortable that is.
How that? Yeah, I know.
I'm like sitting there like, what am I doing?
I know. It feels so natural to me. I like it.
Yeah.
No one knows what it feels like for my hand to just naturally rest like that. No one knows that. It's like
is
I don't.
Awkward position if you're not used to it, I think.
I think you have to like see a picture. I could sned. Do you want to see like a picture just from like one angle of like kind of what you can't really see the exact
Sure.
positioning, but I'll snap just like a quick picture to see the general.
If you send it to me, I can just put it on the like YouTube. I'll just like
Yeah.
boop. That's the picture of it.
Don't mind any like stray, I don't know, hair that's
Yeah, dude.
on the desk or something. Like I can't see any particle in the picture, but okay.
Yeah.
Give me one
good.
moment. It takes a second to send. Okay.
Nah, it's all good.
And my hand might be a little dry. It might be. I
That's
deal with a lot of water damage,
is
or like
scuffed.
water gets my hand so much at work. I know.
Look,
It's like
Dad,
you can't even
what
tell
is-
that I'm like pressing.
What
You can't even tell what I'm doing.
like I think the thing that confuses me most is how you have your like middle finger pressing the up arrow and then your ring finger
It's-
like
Yeah, I have
How
a
did you
slight
get
bit of,
hand-
you know what? You saying that, I have a slight bit of tension. You know, like the base of my thumb, not like my actual thumb, but like where the thumb, like end of the thumb bone connects to the wrist. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a slight amount of tension there that's like holding my wrist and hands like up to
yeah.
keep the middle finger like balanced with 0 weight on the up arrow.
Yeah.
Now
I
that like
see.
you mentioned that, that's kind of how I do it. That's like the resting point for me.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if that makes
Yeah, that was
if
just
that
the
feels
thing
any better.
confusing. Like, you don't play with your keyboard on a slant or anything. You just have it flat. Like,
I mean, sometimes maybe it's slightly to slant. I try to slant it sometimes. Having it straightforward, it just seems the best. I slant my arm to compensate. That seems like the
see,
best way.
I move my keyboard until it's in line with my arm, and then
I
I have
see.
it like straight.
Ooh. Oh shoot. I mean, I could try it. I just am like, I want my monitor to more or less be like in line with the
Yeah.
or
see,
sorry, the keyboard in line with the monitor.
I don't really have my keyboard in line with my monitor ever. It's like either or.
Yeah,
Like, I like move it when I'm playing shooters. For the mouse room, I move it all the way to the left to use WASD, and then if I'm playing platforms, I move all the way to the right to use the arrow keys.
Okay, I mean that does make sense. I guess for some reason with some things I just have a random arbitrary rule and I'm like, gotta stick to it. Can't question that one. Like that's just one of those things. Like, wait, why can't I? I should experiment more. Like I there are some things. It's good to even if you like have mastered or feel like you've mastered or gotten really comfortable with something. It's nice to consider like
just
is there a better way to do this or like just like it's good to
sometimes the best way is just to do whatever feels comfortable. And then when everyone else goes, what are you doing? It's like, no, it's good for me.
You might as well just stick. Yeah, I thought of this today. You might as well just stick with what works until you randomly think of a better solution or are presented with one somehow. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't overthink it beyond that. Like, we can't really do much more than that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's about all I have to say about that. I like it. It helps. I mean, I guess to expound a little bit, like it definitely is beneficial in games where, like, it's or omnidirectional, like with 8 directions including diagonals. Up, down, left, right. Any game like that, I'm pretty sure I have like a slight advantage because I'm able to press any direction at any time. Whereas, I mean, it's really just a vertical movement, the transitioning. But I feel like people probably that's a skill in and of itself.
I don't really play that many on like omnidirectional games. Thinking about it.
No, yeah. I guess they're not super common. I would play. Maybe there's just like an industry that I'm not tapped into that exists. But I mean, I know like bullet hell games and shmups are like they exist.
Yeah,
but
I don't really.
That's not exactly what I want.
I don't really play many bullet hells. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like I would really just like the genre of, but just bullet evasion, bullet hell, whatever. A certain simple, like if the game was like really simple. Well, I guess the games are always pretty simple, but I haven't like looked into the genre too much. So
I know what you mean.
I do like the games that I have played of it. And Undertale, I mean, that's only like a slight point of the game. Most people don't even like give that much of a thought about like that part of the game. So
it's kind of over like it's Undertale, you know.
Right.
Undertale's Undertale.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Transition to some other
what do you want to talk about?
Let me see. What am I known for achievements wise? Okay.
Talk about achievements.
Or rather like games, like what's the games I'm most known for kind of ties into that as well.
Yeah.
Well, those would be like the top games I'm known for, probably Undertale, Celeste, and The End Is Nigh. Although even like The End Is Nigh is like very much tied into like my online like persona for sure the most. But most people, that's probably not where they see me from, because I don't think any End Is Nigh video has 100,000 or even close to that many views. I'm not 100%
I'm fucking weird. I grew up watching your End Is Nigh video.
Right, I'm sure some people who really like. I mean, the only people who are watching it are those who like The End Is Nigh, and maybe every single person who likes The End Is Nigh has seen my stuff. And it's just it was a game that really just fell under the radar. But there's
not that many players, I don't think.
Right, but it is a gem of a platformer. Like it's such a simple game, but it provides a good challenge. Like
if I wasn't so biased towards Meat Boy, I think it would be my favorite game of all time. The End Is Nigh.
Yeah, wow.
If I wasn't biased.
Sure.
Know?
Yeah, of course we have to. Yeah, no, definitely.
It's like God damn it.
And I mean, I recognize
Super Meat Boy is never getting deeper for me. It's like it doesn't matter when it comes out, you know.
That's how I feel about. You know what? I don't know if I'm like I have such a strong opinion about. I mean, like The End Is Nigh, I have a lot of attachment to. But honestly, although I don't have the most playtime, I feel like Hollow Knight is the best game experience I've ever had. Best game I've ever played.
Oh, that's great.
Like, it's like just fantastic. Every aspect of the game, I feel like. I mean, that's not true for most people probably, but I just find very little.
I need to. It's on like the list of games. I'm like, why did I stop playing? I got busy, and then I didn't play. I got up to P5, and I was doing P5. And I'm like, I'm gonna do and then I'm like, I just got distracted and forgot.
Yeah,
about it.
No, those things.
Fuck, I should have beaten it. Like, what was I busy on doing? You know, like what was I doing?
I get the feel that happens. Like sometimes. No, I mean it's happened to me.
It wasn't because I didn't like enjoy it. I just like got distracted and then didn't come back to it.
No, yeah,
So I'm like, oh, fuck.
exactly. Exact same thing happens to me. But the truth though is it's way easier to come back than you probably imagine it will be in your head.
Yeah.
It just takes like a few sessions to start to like before, or I would say reserve any judgment about how you feel about it until like a few sessions in, and then be like, okay, like
Yeah. Oh, I still think
anyways.
it feels great to play. Still a great game.
No, yeah, we're talking about the End Is Nigh, right? Currently still,
Oh yeah, sure.
or is it? Okay, I don't remember.
Hollow Knight.
No, Hollow Knight. I'm so sorry.
No,
Yeah, like I like fucking forgot
Hey,
which game.
both are great games in my opinion.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, right. Um, Hollow Knight is much like the End Is Nigh, where it just has such great feeling movement, and with with Hollow Knight, like seeing gameplay before, I had not that like basically no hope that it would feel as snappy as it does to control. I'm like, the art style just doesn't look like
it's a
it
very,
would be
like,
that tight.
precise game. It's
for
very
control.
good.
Yeah, the movement's like, yeah. Anyway, like I could gush about it forever, but
Fair enough.
that like normally it's hard to get me to want to like explore or like cherish like learning a bunch of things, and like because I can get overwhelmed like with feeling like I need to.
I feel like Hollow Knight's the only Metroidvania I've played. I don't think I've played this.
That's, I mean, you know what? I don't think I have either.
Yeah. I kind of want to play Super Metroid, but I haven't got around to it. I don't know how
I still haven't gotten all achievements in Super Meat Boy, believe that or not. Like, and I don't think I'll ever go back to and get them. I don't know if I will. Maybe someday. I'm just kind of in a weird state with games while I'm indefinitely waiting for Silksong. Like, I have so much preemptive energy to go into that game. When that game's out, you best believe.
Yeah.
Like, you know where I am. Like, don't even have to
day
question.
One. Just start
yeah, you know where I am.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm very hyped. Do you know Shovel Knight?
I do. That's a game I've never played that I think is one of those classics. I just never did.
For Minute of the Hollower, the like second one they're making.
Oh, it's a sequel game?
They're making another game, but I don't think it's like a sequel to the game.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like it's a new IP, like its own thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Minute of the Hollower, but it's the same as Silksong's there. It's coming soon for like 6 years.
Yeah, that and also the Celeste devs are having we had whatever their next game is too. Like there's games to look forward to.
There are games to look forward to, definitely.
Eventually they'll come out. It seems like Deltarune's the most real right now. I don't know if you like how into Deltarune you are.
I have not played Deltarune.
Have you played or like are familiar with the story of Undertale?
I played Undertale.
I
played Undertale a lot.
Gotcha. But... Yeah, I mean, like, I would highly recommend it. I feel like it's going to eclipse Undertale. Like, truthfully, I think this
I think I was going to. I just haven't got around to it.
No, I mean, like, obviously on your own time, whenever, experience it, like, in the purest, rawest way.
Yeah,
of course.
I haven't seen anything on it really. Like,
nice. No, I'm not gonna. I'm
like avoiding
word about it.
Spoilers for it.
No.
I see something come up.
Not gonna say
I'm
crap.
like, I'm not fucking watching that. No.
Gotcha.
I need to see it. You know. I feel like there with a lot of games. Like, there's a lot of games I just don't know anything about, even if they're like really popular. Just because I'm like, I don't want to fucking spoil the experience. You know.
I mean, that's good because I mean, like, if you didn't play, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of is almost like useless knowledge. Like, if you know a lot about something but you never watched it, never played it yourself, it's like, how much does that knowledge really matter? It's only good for like conversation.
Yeah, fair. And I'm generally generally pretty comfortable with just saying like I don't know with things.
Yeah.
You know, when someone brings something up and I just don't know about it, I'm like, yeah, I just haven't played it.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
The only reason, no. The only reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
No, it was because it's coming. Like it might. Chapters 3 and 4 are coming somewhat soon.
Oh yeah.
Is the vibe?
Okay.
Well, like you could wait until the more chapters come out, or like either or would be great for you. It's going to be a total of 4 chapters out once the next drop happens. Chapters 1 and 2 exist as a free demo currently.
Oh yeah.
And once 3 and 4 are released, they'll be out on all platforms, and then it'll be a paid purchase. I don't know how I don't know if it's gonna be free for the next chapters or you're gonna have to play. I feel like that's probably how it's gonna be.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyways, not to get too much off topic, and I don't want to spoil or potentially anything.
Nah,
so
yeah, it's all good.
I could talk about like I haven't really talked about like the actual challenge gaming. I think I can segue into
sure.
that. I'm getting into that now.
Challenge gaming, let's go.
Woo! Where I was in the story before I backtracked to explain World's Hardest Game in my weird playstyle. Even in games where it doesn't benefit me to do the thumb thing, I still do it because that's just my grip on the arrow keys.
Fair.
So with the End Is Nigh, it's like the most silly because it's like pointless. It's only 3 buttons.
Doesn't make it different.
Like, but we do it anyways. That I didn't play the End Is Nigh wasn't my first challenge game. Like the first game I did like intentional challenge runs on. Wouldn't consider playing the World's Hardest Game challenge gaming. I mean, maybe to an extent, but it's just playing a hard game at that time. Challenge gaming to me is like intentionally like doing some self-imposed perfection challenge of some kind.
It has to be like something optional that you can't just like force yourself to do.
Yes.
You're like, I want to do it, so I'm going to.
Yes.
And then everyone's like, why would you do that? It's like, nah, it's good. Fun.
Right.
They're like, nah, it's not fun. I'm like, yes, it is. Shush.
It is like, no, but it is fun.
I find it fun. I get why people wouldn't, but
it's not fun every second, but
you have to have the right mindset, I think.
Yes, you have to just like inherently the act of take satisfaction in the act of refining like your mechanics. That I don't know, for some reason to me I just have endless joy refining my mechanics.
It's fair.
I mean, I get frustrated by in-game moments, of course, but
yeah, I like the feeling of like being so in control of something that you don't really have to think about it. Like you just like it just goes into like a flow. Like you just do it.
Exactly.
You know, that's like the feeling of like being so good, where it's like you don't have to think that much about it.
Exactly.
And then everyone goes, "Wow, you're really good." It's like, no, I just play the fucking game.
Right. It becomes so automatic. No, I love that. I love making the complex sequences of inputs, and like it really becomes like playing an instrument or playing a rhythm game.
Recognition.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Because like you can do the same, like especially games like End Is Nigh where there's no RNG, you kind of like if you do the same thing, it always works.
Yes.
And when you fuck up, it's always your fault. It feels like when I mess up in that game, it feels like I could have like not done that, you know?
Right.
It doesn't feel like bullshit. No, it feels like, yeah, that's my fault. I shouldn't have done that.
No, exactly. No, exactly. I do watch. It's hard for me to watch some people play games like these where there is no RNG because some people will like complain and like antagonize the game no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's
like, no,
it's a little hard for me to watch.
It's your fault.
Yeah,
the game's not doing anything different.
Right. I'm just like, and some people just don't think too hard, or I guess it's like it's prone to streamers doing this. They just value the like social aspect of it. Like a lot of times, I would just the only reason I bring this up, I'm not trying to like shit on any person who ever streamed the End Is Nigh or any game like that. But I was always excited whenever I saw, like at least early on when I was really into the End Is Nigh in my prime.
Oh, I always get excited whenever I see someone streaming. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, and some people, some people it's like a random streamer who is like it's just their game that they scheduled, but like they are clearly like a small streamer trying to just have a schedule, and they're just playing this game, but they're mostly like a casual playthrougher. So like they come up with this game, and I'm like, oh no, and it's like oh, maybe I'll see them get to arid flats. That I've had multiple experiences.
The
like
End Is Nigh is like hard to recommend to people. That's the one.
Yeah,
I've tried to get friends into it. I'm like, no, it's really fun. They play it. They're like, this is awful. I'm not playing this. I'm like,
oh yeah. I go back to my review. I do have a review of the game. I don't know if you've ever seen it before.
Oh, I don't know if I have seen it.
I could read it out. I mean, I was younger, and it's not like the best thing ever. But it actually does connect to this.
Games. Game
Wait,
good.
how the heck do I even
I had fun.
go? Oh, there it is.
10 out of 10. It's like, that's not helpful. I'm like, well, that's what you're getting.
Where is my... Oh, I have to go to my profile. Sorry, I was distracted. Okay, my review says, for the average player who wants to complete the game but doesn't quite understand what they're getting themselves into, I might think twice about buying this. I tried to make it like short and concise and like separate people into different types of gamers, and like if you're this type of person, you might like it more or might like it less. And I said, for those who plan on completing the game, maybe except for the ridiculous achievements and want a great challenge, this is right up your alley. For those who like to hurt themselves, yearn for a masochistic challenge, and want to go for 100% achievements in a game with simple enough mechanics that is unbelievably difficult to do so in, this is one of the best, especially as far as platformers go. Edit. However, I should note, if you're already into platformers, you have to give this a go. The edit 2. I'm 8 months late for this edit, but I would not recommend for anyone to go for 100% achievements anymore. Iron God in parentheses XP. just settle for 99% C colon. Sorry, not sorry. Or sorry, I'm not sorry.
Someone was complaining. I think I told you. Someone was complaining about it on YouTube or whatever. I just got into comments.
Oh no.
And then people were like, "Well, look, Iron God only exists because Enoch's a maniac. That's the only reason there are fucking achievements in the game. You don't have to do it."
Oh yeah, I'm like I don't know how I feel about it. Like I don't like inconveniencing people. I don't like making people mad. But in this case,
an achievement or no? Did they just edit?
Yes. No, I did because I was really into the End Is Nigh, like, or I was hyped for it. I was one of the few people who was like hyped for this game to come out because it was barely marketed. But this ties into me. I was a fan of Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. Yeah. So I was like, Edmund was saying he was about to release this really hard platformer, and like I was like, oh my gosh. And it was announced like a month or two before it came out, so it didn't have to wait that long. And holy crap, I just lost my train of thought. What was I just saying?
Talking about, oh fuck.
I know.
Oh no.
I know. I know.
I got becoming an achievement.
Oh yeah. Duh. Jeez. Why? Yeah. I was going on a slight tangent, like trying to connect that
just
back.
Fucking lost.
I know. Like head empty. Okay. Iron God. Why it became an achievement? I was a fan of it early on, and Tyler tweeted one time that if anyone was crazy enough to do the entire game deathless, that they would add a special achievement just for them. Before that, they had said they had mentioned they were like tweeting out like what achievements sometimes or they were sometimes tweeting out what achievements were going to be in the game, teasing them. And with that, with like little context. And they said, or Tyler one time said that there's going to be an achievement for any percent deathless, an achievement for all collectibles deathless, and an achievement for everything deathless. That originally there was planned to be all three of those achievements in the game. They backed out on that.
Yeah, that seems very unrealistic. That's not fair.
Would have been, yeah. Oh, wait, Tyler, I think
not fair.
Obviously, like, I think in either a reply or later on, like Tyler said that's basically like a task only achievement, and I'm like, okay. I mean, task only might be going a little far, I think, to say, but
you know, I reckon one day someone would. If it's not me, like if not you or me, like I would like to do it. You know,
right? It's just like I like when am I going to be okay with like pre-grieve the 2 months of life I'm about to give up?
Yeah, I'm just really busy, so I don't really have much time. But I feel like at some point over like the next year or like wait, I'm just gonna be like, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna just sit down and start playing. Like
I do have feelings still. Again, yeah, like I'm with you. I still have.
Like, you know, the more you get into it, it just becomes more and more like demoralizing. You know, especially with games like this. Yeah. It's like, God fucking damn again, really? You know?
Yes,
whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take. Like, what kind of locking in mentally is gonna have to happen, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm with you. I'm like very cautious about doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, like it could be. Yeah, I'd have to be very, very careful about doing it. like, and if I was,
I feel like
to be as concerned.
I also want to protect like my mental state.
That's exactly what I was. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Exactly. There's a risk involved.
It's like one of
It,
those
like,
things where it's like
yeah.
people would go like, "Why don't you do it?" I'm like, you don't understand how fucking hard this is.
Yeah.
This is fucking bullshit.
Because you're really not gonna feel like doing it every single day, going back and practicing every single day.
No.
You have to like somehow find a way to like trick yourself, find these ways to trick yourself into
I'm having fun.
stop being like the only strategies I can come up with are like a strategy I just thought of the other day. I'm like, this could be a fun thing to do. Like, try to do every level 1. Like, let's go through every single level 1 of a chapter instead of like going chapter by chapter. Like, let's
I see.
I don't know, and like that would help me learn the
Like,
numbers of every level if I
yeah.
did that. I think.
I think my main concern about it is doing 100%, like getting 100% right, deathless, and then being so shot going into the carts.
Yeah, I don't know how that can go, but that's what intrigues me so much. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
it's so laughably ridiculously stressful, like,
Also,
or should be.
I have like the dream of doing End Is Nigh cart last. Like I just like
Yeah, me
see,
too. Me
I'm, like,
too.
I'm
Me
always
too.
like, fuck, I need to do it last.
Me too.
I can't
Me too.
live with myself
Exactly.
if I don't. And then I'm like, why am I leaving
Exactly.
that cart to go last? What the fuck is wrong?
Because that makes it like in a way
beginning and
okay.
end is the same. Because if you're doing streaming mini
Yeah.
before or streaming mini before, it's like
It
feels
that's the
like
whole
a
point of the game.
conclusion, you know?
Yes, it's the whole. It's
Like,
literally
holy
the.
fuck, I did it.
It's the end of the game, because the whole plot of the game starts because that cartridge broke, and then you retrieved it.
Also, I'm kind of a maniac. I like in my head when I think about doing it, I'm like, I want to talk to everything as well, but I don't know if that's realistic. I like want to talk to all the fucking characters as well, and then do every.
You mean do
all
yes.
screens, like do spike tails and shit. Like, but it's not. It's just not fucking realistic, you know?
Right, the spike tails thing. You could like if you don't allow yourself to pause, I'm gonna say you are decreasing your likelihood of success by a lot.
Yeah. But it's just always like that weird feeling. Like I feel like I want to just do everything. Like
I get that.
know.
Like I
know it's not realistic, and I probably won't. But it's in my head, you know.
Yes, like, I have that brain worm myself.
It eats away at you. You're like, don't do that.
I gotta do it 100%.
Really
like
stupid.
I gotta do it all the way, where so no one can like. It can't be topped unless somebody did the challenge consecutively. That's the only way you can top it.
Doing that challenge consecutively, I'm not.
Oh yeah, no.
Like,
no. But that's when people are like, well, there's 3 save files, 456.
I was like, nah, I'm good.
Stop it.
I feel like I don't like challenges that have to get harder just because you do it a bunch. I don't really like. You just do it like 10 times in a row. Where it's like, okay, no, well, that just seems kind of arbitrary. Like,
yeah, because it is like it's like it hinges on skill, but yet it is still like luck dependent. It's like luck based. It's just like you're getting the odds line up eventually.
And I feel like with doing challenges like that, I feel like I'm just gonna fall asleep. Like
that gets
at like
boring.
level 8, I'm gonna die and be like, well, I just was fucking sleeping. Like, I'm not like awake right now. How was I ever meant to do that?
Right. I'd say the only benefit that I've noticed from doing that is doing the like recently, or somewhat recently, I guess. I did the series of doing all the carts besides Super Mega Kart 10 times in a row deathless. The reason I liked doing that was because it made me experience playing through the early levels of the cartridges while being nervous. Well, I guess now that I think about it.
What have I done? I've done all the glitch carts 10 times deathless. And then I've done like the ring carts kind of in a row, but not like them 10 times deathless, just like in a row, like a bunch.
Yeah.
And
gotcha.
All Rings Mega Kart is fun. No.
Right. So wait, so you said you did do glitch cart, glitch carts?
I've done all glitch carts 10 times. I just haven't put them all together. I need to do that.
Gotcha.
But I probably can. Wow. I just haven't. I just don't get the end. What's your strat, by the way, for the End Is Nigh cart? I know this is a tangent, but like
on what? No, that's okay.
Level screen 3.
Screen 3. Oh, like what? You're like, what is that strat?
When you jump up and like down on the fucking platform for the last like spike pillar. I just cannot get that in my head.
Like, is there a specific part of it that is awkward?
You know, the last one where you like
you need to buffer, but then you need to buffer but then go back the other way for the first time. It's like once you get to the farthest edge and then you do like, what is it, 5 straight up jumps in a row,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
that
you got to
thing.
start doing the swapping sides and doing the buffer ledge grabs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that thing.
Before like the transition, before you start doing that,
I
the
always,
first time you go
it
left.
just feels so scuffed. Like whenever I try it, I'm like, what the fuck? How
I
do I fuck it up?
I'm somehow used to it. Like I'm so in tune with like what my buffer delay is gonna be in the moment. Like, and I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Like I always press left. I just somehow press left when I'm brushing against the wall. Like I guess
yeah.
because I don't know. I don't know
I
exactly
don't
how I
know.
time it. It somehow feel I've just done a
Is
lot
that
of
just the
different
best
buffer
way you've like
situations.
felt? That
Or
just
what's that?
does that just work best for you? I suppose.
Yeah, or like I don't know if there's a different sequence you can do to avoid
Yeah.
doing an awkward movement like that, but the whole reason I do that strat is obviously so I can buffer the
Yeah.
timing through the third
Just
pillars.
because it's inconsistent. It's like consistent. Yeah, that makes sense.
There, yeah, like using the visual, no
No,
way am
no,
I
no, no,
going to
no, no.
trust
Not
using a
risking it.
visual when I'm on like
Yeah.
adrenaline bullet time. Like
On
there's
the
no
last,
way.
on the fucking last cart.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
it's
nah.
too YOLO. I mean, the end is Night 4 is already like not great because you got to do a 2 frame
Yeah.
timing jump, which for some reason I feel like less confident about than I did in the past. I didn't think about frame timings. I wasn't like so in tune with that stuff. So like it felt easy and it somewhat looked easy. Then I realized, oh, it is a 2 frame timing
I think
to jump
3 and
through on
4
top.
are my two most scared levels in that cart.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Well, for me and my strat, not real. I am pretty consistent with it.
Yeah,
It's
fair.
like a crazy buffer sequence, but I'm just
I feel
so
like
used to buffers, I guess.
it just stresses me out. Like I can
Yeah, I
do
think
it consistently. It's just like I get very like stressed going into it. I don't really know how to explain it. Like
I can
like,
get
the
it.
feeling of dread comes on. You're like, don't fuck this up, please.
Yeah, well, especially if that one movement you're talking about feels awkward, it makes sense
Yeah.
to be nervous about that one part going right.
I'll figure it out. Watch the video.
Yeah, no,
over and over again.
I think it could definitely be overcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in on the End Is Nigh early, and the
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
the achievement was added was
Was 'cause you
because,
did it.
well, Tyler made that promise back in the day,
Yeah.
and then I screenshotted that tweet and was like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna do
it.
that.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a video. I don't have it even private or at all on my YouTube channel anymore, but it was when I did, I think, Dark Salt Factory Deathless in the
yeah.
End Is Nigh. And it was like on 4th of July. Oh yeah,
So
it was on
melee.
4th of July in 2017, and I at the end of the video I was like rambling about how I was looking forward to the End Is Nigh and like how
Yeah.
I was planning on doing the. I really wish I had this, but like yeah, I was
I don't
planning on
think I have
doing the
any
game
of my-
Deathless.
I think I might have one of my Deathless Super Meat Boy achievements. And it's probably
Oh.
Dark End.
Right,
I'd have to go digging for it though. I don't know where it is.
got it. But I mean, it's crazy those achievements. I'm so curious as to what those achievements would have looked like or what they would have been named. The Deathless Hoarder and
Yeah.
152% Deathless achievement.
Probably
The,
what's wrong with you.
but I mean, like Dead God, where do you go from there? Like,
Yeah.
I can't even think of like good fitting names. Like that's honestly like one of my common like 30-second to a minute shower thoughts.
The
It's like, what would those be
152,
called?
the 152% achievement is just like, okay, now go outside. Go.
Yeah,
Get off-
for real, go outside.
get
Yeah,
off the
actually go
computer.
outside.
Like, what are
I
you
know I
doing?
said stay inside, but go outside.
Get out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but at least I'm like keeping my brain sharper than I don't know if I was just like consuming slop content all day, probably on YouTube.
What,
like
brain
it's
rot?
gotta be a little better.
Yeah.
Well, at least
Brain rot's getting to everyone, eh?
it is.
It is. I guess I should
there's-
ask about the doing the challenge and stuff. Like, how do you find controlling your nerves like at that level?
It has been different during different times because I think it's nerve control is a like skill in and of itself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I find it very interesting how people figure out how to like calm themselves down. You know, that kind of.
I
thing.
don't think like I've kind of let go of the idea that there's anything that you can think of in the moment that's gonna like any psychological trick that's just gonna zap you into focus. If such a technique existed, then the world would be so different.
It would be so nice, wouldn't it?
If we could just focus at the snap of like whenever on commands. That's not how it works.
ADHD
like focus
and autism people rejoice worldwide.
It's like
yes, finally I can focus on stuff.
oh yeah, I have to like I don't even know what, because it's not even just nerves for me, it's mental distractionville, to the max. I start thinking, and I apologize in advance, but like your hands start sweating, but like manual breathing, manual blinking, you can feel the clothes in your body, every single thing like that is all I can think about. When where am I looking? Where are my eyes looking? Where do I normally look when I play? I'm like, oh my gosh, things I don't even think about now. All of only things I can think about.
Yeah.
So like it gets sometimes it's better. I don't know. Sometimes my brain just isn't tuned into that frequency, but a lot of times it is. So it's like I'm fighting the nerves and the distraction, but nerve control really only gets better as you just get repeated exposure.
Yeah.
And even that can be kind of like a gamble of how often you get the proper nerve exposure, because it hinges on you getting a close enough to PB attempt.
Yeah.
Like often enough. And that's a whole thing with like how your mentality when going for and grinding for a challenge run can be different based on like how long it's been since you've been close to your PB, or how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you have to.
Like,
I feel like ideally you just need to like
a point where you like know you can get to that point again. You get less nervous doing it.
Yes, like that's the only thing. That's the only thing that you can
like
hold on
when
to.
You get like a PB, right? You feel like your previous PB isn't as stressful anymore, and it like slowly builds up like that.
Yeah, and I play my absolute best when I'm on a PB attempt. Usually, like it's right after I PB, I'm just relieved, and then I'm playing almost as if it was practice. Not quite, but I'm like, it just feels like no pressure.
You feel like a weight lifted, sort of.
Yes.
And you're like, oh well, I can do that now. Like,
yes,
I've just proved to myself I can do it.
Yeah, like you've made it into reality. It's like if this happened once, it can, and I wasn't. I'm not a broken piece of hardware or something. Like I can achieve this same result. And especially if you keep like having belief in yourself that if you keep trying, you'll keep improving, and then it'll only get easier. And like those are all truths, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know how much diminishing returns there are, like how that scales in different types of games, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Like I think that fan games are kind of the thing that get close to pushing the limit of like what you can get consistent at, because like it's all about like frame perfects and these like crazy.
I think another good way is
obstacle setups,
like learning speedruns.
Like, that's true.
Even if you're not gonna be like a speed runner, just learning like the strats and stuff can be really helpful. Just to, like know like little tips and shit that will help.
Yes, just having knowledge about a game in general. Like the more knowledge you have about how the game works, like I've said before, the more you can leverage that knowledge to
I'm always of the mind like some speedrun strats. The only reason you wouldn't do the strat, even if you're just playing casually, is because you don't know how to do it. Like,
exactly.
It's not hard, and you can learn it, and it just makes the game better. Like,
for sure,
you know. So
no, absolutely.
Like when you're doing it, people are like, "Why are you doing that?" It's like the only reason you wouldn't do it is if you like hadn't practiced it or anything, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. I guess
I think I could go into a topic of like what inspired me to get into challenge gaming in the first place.
Oh yeah.
I think I didn't transition into that.
No,
like the End Is Nigh wasn't the first challenge game. Oh yeah, I was saying something like that earlier.
Did say that.
Undertale was the first game I actually did challenge runs in.
Oh yeah.
Because I watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough, then I played through Undertale myself, Wish I didn't spoil it for myself, but it is what it is. It's still
Yeah.
cool.
It's still a cool game.
And I knew, and watching him, I was like, I would be so much better at this game. I'm like, this is literally. I just knew by watching. I'm like, oh yeah, this is my shit right here.
Jack.
Yeah, like, so reject.
What doing? let me show
He
him.
wasn't that bad. There were definitely worse,
Yeah.
but
I think I got
like,
I got into Until from Merg. I think that's
yeah,
what I saw first.
didn't get down that Merg pipeline. Like, I've narrowly missed it. I easily could have, but I
Yeah.
just didn't go down there.
Well, I already knew him from like Geometry Dash. Like, that's
Oh
where
yeah,
I knew him from, and then he started playing Until. I'm like, ooh, this looks.
I knew about Geometry Dash. Like, I got it on mobile like pretty early when it was a thing,
I feel
but
like
I
everyone's
just
played Geometry Dash.
that's true. I guess
It's
but
just like, oh yeah, I know that game.
yeah, I guess so. It is in the collective consciousness these days.
I don't know. I like Geometry Dash, but I got kind of bored after a while. I don't know how to explain
Understandable. For some reason, the way the game was set up, I just couldn't, even though like I say I like practicing and refining my precision, for some reason practicing a level in Geometry Dash, it's like
I say I like it, and then I like look at my hours. Yeah, I have like 1,000 hours. It's like, yeah, I quote unquote like that game. You know? I feel like I should use.
that's isn't that like the average meme? Like the comment like that people give, like, it's okay, 4,000 hours.
Yeah. It's like, it's fine. It's like, how many hours do you have? I'm like, ignore that.
That's that's eventually what happens. You might have like had more like readily like and continuous, like ready and continuous enthusiasm in the past, but it's like it withers eventually. Like you just like the connection and like the liking towards it is still there, but like the enthusiasm and like eventually things just get boring. You need something different. That you change in life and grow and whatever is what it is. But reason I got into challenge runs, so it's because I read a YouTube description once, and that's funny because most people don't read a YouTube description.
Love YouTube descriptions.
After I played through Undertale, I looked up no-hit runs because I was just for some reason naturally curious about that because I liked the skill aspect of the game. And I was like, because I also want to see, I'm like, okay, I felt like I played through this game pretty well. Like, what does a really good player look like? And Merg had some of the most popular no-hits, but there was another guy, no-hit runs. I think just that's his YouTube name.
Yeah.
I think he had the first uploaded no-hit Sans. Could be incorrect, not sure. But I watched his original no-hit Sans video and was like, oh my goodness. Like, that was the... yeah, I know that was the cream of the crop, like peak challenge. I'm like, I loved the game so much, and like that fight is so epic, and like I care so much about the skill side. I'm like, no, oh my god.
Should message him and say, hey, you should do 2 times speed.
No, well, he commented on my 1.5. Like, so what ended up happening is he started doing sped up versions of Undertale, or like speed hack Undertale no hits at either 1.5 or 2 times speed. He'd done no hit Sans phase 1 only no hit and no hit Undying the Undying at 1.5 speed. And so I'm like, okay, so Undying's doable, but in the description for the Sans phase 1 only 1.5, he notably puts that he deemed the rest of the fight impossible for no hits. And then and added another comment saying like, if anyone feels like they can do, or like he like put an open challenge out there basically to anyone who felt like they could do it. And I'm like, oh yeah,
sign me up.
I think yeah. And I didn't even have like a great PC. The problem with this is like, okay, having a good computer, it's just Undertale, right? Like how much could that really matter? Reaction time is such a big factor.
Yeah,
like
in that it's like, how much does it really matter? I'm like, oh, it does. Like it helps. You know,
there's a slight, I mean, for precision it doesn't necessarily have to. It's just the delay. Like, yeah, I will die on the hill that the more responsive the game, like the faster you'll improve, like the easier it will be to be consistent. Like the less your brain has to compensate for a relatively greater delay, like it's just easier. Anyways,
And I guess we can finish by, do you have any advice or like for people wanting to get into challenge gaming or speedrunning or whatever? Any advice for people out there?
I would approach with caution. I wouldn't like I'd only do it if you think like if you are actually having fun with it. Like in the past, I don't know what I would have said, but I've definitely realized that I've spent like I pushed myself more than I think most people would. Like I definitely made myself play through a lot of times when I otherwise probably didn't really want to be playing. But then I got used to doing that. And you can strengthen up like a sort of mental grit to do it for a while, but eventually you may burn out. Like you have to know when to apply the brakes. Literally apply the brakes, because I did not take breaks like ever during session. I would see I haven't even taken my own advice yet, but take breaks during sessions. Like I probably don't play a session for more than like I don't know,
like 3 hours, 2-3 hours.
Yeah, I'd say I was gonna say like 4 or 5 hours, but like I think even those
the run, then I tend to take breaks like every 3 hours.
Yeah, and realistically, people only like, especially like the older you get, you only have so much time. I wouldn't pressure yourself to put in too much time per day. The amount of time you put in per session isn't necessarily what matters. It's like I
feel like it's more what you're practicing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to like I have to think a little bit deeper to give a good answer about this. It's actually good. So what are we saying? Sorry, like what advice for getting into challenge gaming? I'm trying. Oh, it's because the reason I asked that is because I'm like getting into. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like give a short class on like, okay, how do you actually do it the correct way? I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really know that. I would just say most people, like, it's okay if you don't want to do it. Like you're not.
Yeah, of course.
You're not a worse gamer or like anything. Yeah, like it's only you have to be like a certain type of person to want to do it. And I feel like you might know. If you haven't tried it, I would give something a try, but I would think of some self-imposed optional challenge in a game that just sounds interesting to you and see how it is to figure it out. Because honestly, a lot of the enjoyment I get is finding my own strats. And just the strat development of a run is actually a big part of my enjoyment. And like I spend a lot of time there. I chronically yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm known for over practicing and over preparing. At least that's how I felt when it came to.
I always over practice.
I think it's a good idea too.
I just like keep doing it, and they're like, "That's so easy." I'm gonna fuck it up though if I don't do it.
Well, you know what? That's the biggest piece of advice I would say is you need to learn to accept practice, and probably like actually, if you don't have fun practicing, like if you never ever have any enjoyment practicing, you probably don't enjoy the core element of like what makes challenge gaming fun. Yeah, I would say. Does that sound true? I feel like that's pretty the best piece.
You have to get into the mindset of like it's not gonna like be instant.
You have to first want to. Yeah, you first have to like you have to be interested to get good at the game, and then like see what you have to do to get good at the game. Try it a little bit. If it's annoying to you, just straight up completely to try to do then you have to. If you I guess.
Then you're not gonna
put
have
simply.
Fun.
Yeah, you have to enjoy some elements of practicing, and the enjoyable parts usually are seeing your improvement over time. So I would suggest like don't give it up too quick. Like give it a little bit of a chance. Yeah. But I wouldn't try anything. Like don't force yourself to just like do anything arbitrarily. It's easier to do if it's something you care about. I mean, especially like that's how I started. I did it on Undertale. Like that game was super impactful to me. And then I felt like I got this inspiration from like the like YouTube description. Like I had this open challenge out there in the world. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it a little shot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like, who knows if I even would have gotten into challenge gaming if I didn't have that
little boost, like the little push.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those like were extra motivators. So I don't know how you can like cultivate those type of things yourself. It's helpful to have.
I think this question,
Like,
is
you
more
have to have just
directed at
passion
people
for it.
who already want to like not quite sure, you know. They want to, but then they don't, you know.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I used to. It was crazy because I used to think of, or like view myself as someone who like wasn't capable of doing anything like that, or like I didn't think I was ever gonna put that much effort into something. I guess not that I like didn't have it in me. It's just like I thought I wouldn't. But I was surprised. It was
You surprise yourself.
Yeah, it was like looking back after the fact. In hindsight, it's like it. I can see it's like it was easier than I thought. Not to say it was easy to do, but it's not so like if you actually enjoy doing it. So for somehow, and like I can't even exactly describe what exactly I enjoy with it. I've tried, but yeah, basically that was how I tried to start. My answer was like only if you have fun, only if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And at the conclusion to that, or the better version of that, I would say is like if you have to be able to find practice enjoyable and be willing to practice, because I would caution, do not just do attempts with very little practice. That can get very boring and frustrating. It can be like a hellscape. Some people, I don't know, get in that hole of just like doing attempts and like never, and just not really wanting to practice. And that's a recipe for disaster. So you have to accept that practice is required. It is, the more you practice and the more like you're aware of what you are and are not good at,
Look after yourself first, I think.
And yes, don't value your health over like your achievement and accomplishments in a video game.
It's a video game. It is fun to get in, but at the end of the day, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was pretty good. I like how this turned to like an End Is Nigh glaze fest.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm like, I should get enough on. I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen.
We got to talk at least a little bit. Of course.
Yeah.
We've never had a chance to really connect about it.
Yeah, no.
Like that. So
it's like I need to get, you know, and then I'm like, fuck. It's just gonna turn into an End Is
one
Nigh
day,
fucking
maybe
video.
maybe one day, one of us might make it real.
One day. That's the dream, you know?
It is. I have had several instances like just dreaming about it happening and tearing up, imagining me doing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's.
I'm like sitting
like,
in bed. I'm like sitting in bed looking at the ceiling. I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I thinking? I like picturing me beating the End Is Nigh car, and I'm like, oh,
exactly.
Fuck, I did it.
I'm like, I would be so stunned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Imagining the feeling, I'm like, it's gonna feel 10 times fucking better when you actually do it, you know?
I know, I'm like, am I, like, I almost feel weird. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like,
having fucking
fantasizing
about doing it.
Yes, fantasizing about this, like, euphoric feeling I'll have in the future, and, like, almost experiencing it partially just by thinking about it. I'm like, this is weird.
I do that with that game. I'm like,
but I mean, if that's...
Oh, fuck.
I know, that's a normal thing, I think.
It's just like...
People have thoughts of grandeur. They do.
Yeah. One day, maybe.
One day, perhaps.
One day,
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being episode 3. I thought this was really fun.
Yeah, I had a good time. Very nice chat.
That's good. That's what this is about, eh? Just having fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I say A too much. I'm not even Canadian.
What? Did you even say A before this? I didn't notice if you did.
I just said it, and then I'm like, it feels weird for a New Zealander to say that.
I don't know. I don't know what people talk like. People can talk. You can talk like whatever you want. Like, I'm not gonna question it.
Nice. I love going off script.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess I'll say thanks for being here, and thanks for listening / watching to any of them. It's been great, and I'll see you next time. You want to say bye? Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of Reach the Peak podcast. eenox is really cool. I would seriously recommend going and checking him out. As always, his links to his videos will be in the description of the YouTube video. And yeah, thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye.